Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. It is the weekend. Friday is upon us. Today is the 19th of September. Our sun sign is in Virgo. Our moon sign is in Leo. So we have an earth sign and a fire sign. Think about earth and fire in the world around you and how those two things operate. In this case, the subconscious mind fire is underneath the surface, so the ideas are bubbling underneath the surface, whereas on the outside, the conscious mind, the Virgo, the earth, is dealing with the physical realm. Things that happen in the physical world, things that deal with the physical body, anything of that nature. So you have the earth, the physical things, all with these ideas that want to come forward to help to bring positive change through the right use of energy to the physical world. So we have a lot of creativity in everything that is going on. The main thing that we have is the moon sign and Mars are in a nice good trine that happened just a couple hours ago. Mars being the planet that has to do with energy, a lot of energy, aggression, passion, all of those kind of things. That is in a nice good place with Mars, so there's some fuel to fuel all of that creativity going on, that Martian fuel. So look for some creative ideas to come forth today. Over the course of the weekend, we've got Leo as our moon sign on Saturday, and Sunday makes a transition early in the morning, about 11 o'clock, to Virgo, where it will be when we resume on Monday. All right. And then, of course, next week we are going on Monday as well into a new sign. So Monday the 22nd will be a big change day between the sun sign from one to the next. Let's jump over to the numerology for today. Number 8. Here's how we've arrived at the number 8. The number 8, 9 plus 1, 9 plus 2, 0, 1, 4, all together adds up to 26. 2 plus 6 equals 8. So we have the 6 expressing itself from the 2. The 6th is discrimination and discernment expressing itself from the 2, which is the inner temple. So we go into the inner temple, and when we go into that inner temple, we find that ability to connect with our higher self. We understand the discrimination and the discernment necessary to make the proper choices in life, and we express that through what we learn as we go into the holy temple inside. So that is what the 26 is about. The 6 coming out of the 8. Altogether, the 8 is strength, righteousness. We know our strength is right here, righteousness. We know the moon sign is the same thing right here. And our sun sign is right here, Virgo. So we're just situated right here, working on balancing out the severity and the mercy. The severity and the mercy. Very important that we balance it out. That's what the strength is real about. Because we have to have strength of character in order to balance out things that are too much or too little. All right, highlights of the tarot. Let's take one more look at Virgo, because we're going to be leaving this. So for this last month, we have been dealing with the Hermit. The Hermit has been holding the lantern high for us to see, so we should have a good idea by now of what the Hermit is all about, because we are all the Hermit. We all have our moments where we go into solitude, we get information, and then we bring it out to share with others. There's different reactions to the way that we share and how we share, why we share, but nonetheless, we all, at times or another, share information. That is what the light is about. The more that we are able to stay and come from a place where we are unbiased about that information, the more we can present that information to the people in a way that is not challenged as much as if we come and we are particularly biased one way or the other. That's why we have the gray color, because the Hermit is not biased. The Hermit is the combination of the different expressions that are balanced out in the Hermit, because he's the neutralization of all pairs of opposites. We have the darkness in the back, showing that our illumination comes out of the darkness, that light of illumination. We have the Hebrew letter Yod, which means open hand. It's an earth sign, and it's Virgo. Okay. The moon phase is 18% of the way full, making its way back down to a new moon. We'll be there next week. Looking up in the sky tonight, this is what we will see. It says at dawn Saturday morning, Jupiter shines upper left of the waning moon in the east. How long has it been since you turned your scope on either Jupiter or the waning crescent? Alright, there you go, looking southwest. Mayan Oracle's a 12-tone day. 12 tones called the crystal tone of cooperation. We're one step away from getting ready to jump off of this wave spell, which has been themed according to the Skywalker, which is exploration of space. So now we've come all this way. We've gone through our explorations, and now we've got the seed. We're going to plant the seed for the next phase that we're getting ready to go to. The next phase will be the World Bridgers, the next step after the Serpent. So the World Bridger will begin on Sunday, the new wave spell, and we'll be on to the second day of the new wave spell when we return on Monday. The phrase for today is I dedicate in order to target universalizing awareness. I seal the input of flowering with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of intelligence. And today is a galactic activation portal day. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns over and 1, 2, 3, 4 positions down. There we are there. So today is a crystal seed guided by the warrior. Space weather. Solar wind 488.4 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is between a 3 and a 5, so we are getting some activity taking place. Coronal holes, nothing facing us directly. A couple that we do see forming, one which is leaving, one which seems to be coming into view. M-class flare possibilities at 20%. X-class is only at 1. Geomagnetic storm activity 10 in the mid-latitudes, 20 in the high latitudes. And on the Mayan or the Jewish calendar, 24 Elul. 24 Elul is the name of today. Knowing that which you know. A creature born without parents can never know what it means to cry for his father and mother. A being with no sense of the transcendent can never know what is God and what is divine. The words, the explanations, we hear them through our minds, but they speak to our souls, for the soul already knows. There you go. That gets us started for today. Let's jump over to UFO news. That's up next. Here we go.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. First story takes us over to the moon, the Mars, excuse me. Up on Mars appears to be some sort of a hot spring lake. Image in question here. Location of discovery, Christ Plantia, Mars. The link to the photo. I found water on Mars again, and this time it is a beep load of it. A whole hot spring lake on Mars. This photo is the original color that NASA put on their site, and nothing has been altered. Nor did NASA say they changed anything on it. It's all original. There are a lot of ancient structures all along the edges of the lake. I didn't see the cones NASA was talking about, and I believe this photo was put up by accident. It may be taken down soon, so copy it to your computer before they delete it from their site. Yes, they have used info at my site to do that before. Okay. Very interesting. Definitely looks like a lake, though, or a body of water. So we see the land, we see the body of water there. Okay, pretty good. So you got the video here, you got the picture. Again, if you get a chance, copy them because they might not last. Because they, of course, don't want you to know that it looks like this on Mars. Moving from Mars to Mexico, the 11th of September, a fleet over there. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them part of this fleet here. This is a video. We saw part of this the other day from Guadalajara. New video, 6 unidentified flying objects across the night sky above León, a city in the Mexican state of Guadalajara. This was on September 11th. The video is 1 minute 59 seconds in length. And here we see a bunch of the UFOs. There we go. Look at that nice little swarm there. That's a whole lot of them, and they're moving very fast. Pretty cool. Okay. So there you have it, a sighting from Mexico. Moving from Mexico, we're going to go to a day in history. This is the Tehran Incident. UFO Incident on September 19th, 1976. Exactly 38 years ago, one of the most extraordinary and best sightings of a UFO occurred in Tehran, Iran. It all started with the public calling up and notifying the Iran military of a strange sighting on the sky above their homes with bright lights emerging from it. The then Assistant Deputy Commander of Operations, Commander Yusufit, learnt about it and initially mistook it to be the planet Venus. With several calls coming in the same sighting, Commander Yusufit saw the reports himself and was shocked to know that it was no heavenly body, and immediately scrambled an F-4 jets from the Cherokee Air Force Base with the objective to intercept and identify the flying object. What happened next left everyone perplexed, as the F-4 that took off, completing the travel of 35 miles towards the north of the base, started having communication problems and could not establish communication with the ground. It was still 35 miles away from the unidentified flying object, and the plane had electronic problems too. The pilot detected problems and left the chase, thereby starting to fly back towards the base. It was shocking to know that all the problems disappeared abruptly when the pilot changed his course. However, as soon as the pilot contacted the ground and told the problems, the second F-4 was scrambled for the operation and took off from the same airbase. The fighter plane made a better approach and flew close enough to the object that the previous one and sent signals that transmitted about the size of the object, roughly the size of a large passenger airplane. Still, the shape and the size could not be determined clearly, as the UFO had an intense glow and the pilot could not obtain a clear visual. When the fighter plane approached this strange craft at a closer distance, it began to move rapidly. The speed was so great that the F-4 could not catch up with it, even though it was flying at a speed of over 1 Mach. The sudden burst of speed was shocking, and it was unbelievable by the observing crew of the F-4. On flying closely, the visual observation made by the pilot indicated that the UFO had strobe lights, which were arranged in a rectangular pattern. Also, the color lights kept changing between red, blue, green, and orange. Suddenly, a smaller object emerged out of the mysterious object and started approaching the F-4. This happened towards the south of Tehran, and the smaller UFO rapidly advanced near the F-4. With no other option left with the crew, they armed the IM-9 missile and were trying to aim it at the approaching object, but when they tried to fire, the weapon system failed and the communication ceased too. With no other option left than to avoid the head-on collision with the UFO, the pilot took a deep nosedive, and even as the F-4 was losing altitude, the UFO was approaching it. After a while, this alien-like craft suddenly stopped approaching the F-4 and changed its course. When this happened, as the second UFO flew away from the F-4, all of the systems of the F-4 started working again without any problems. After such an astonishing unfolding of events that shook everyone in the airbase, they could all only arrive at the conclusion that this was nothing earthly and that was of extraterrestrial origin. Also, there is enough supporting evidence and documentation to prove that this was actually a UFO, and there are records of the ground radar and the radar of both the F-4s that flew to examine this alien craft. Okay, good story. It goes back to Tehran. Here we have Wales. Cardiff, Wales passenger plane coming back from a holiday was captivated by these strange hovering lights, which he watched for several minutes from his plane as his flight approached Cardiff. The 29-year-old said, "We were flying from Greece to Cardiff. It was Tuesday night, and this happened about 20 to 40 minutes before we arrived. The lights could be seen from a few miles away. It was pitch black outside, so it's hard to say what it was." Nonetheless, there it is. Okay. Moving from there to Portsmouth, UK. People have spotted a strange flying object in the sky of Portsmouth and believe it could be a UFO. A gray spherical object has been floating around the sky and claims it could be a cloud, an airplane, or a bird, having been shot down by one of those that have seen it. Johnny Blackwell, 23, of Trevor Road, South Sea, said, "I don't believe in UFOs, but when I saw this, I didn't know what it was. It didn't look like a cloud, and it was moving very fast. It was a gray disc-like shape, which I know sounds like the stereotypical UFO, but that's what it looked like. I don't know much about the military crafts, but this was very fast-moving and odd to see." Johnny, a television and film production student at the University of Portsmouth, said he saw the object around 7 p.m. Tuesday. Other people have taken to Twitter to talk about the UFO. Mr. Josh H.K. said, "Watching the sky and saw what looked like a UFO, starting to believe in what people have been saying." Another Twitter said, "So a UFO has been spotted in Portsmouth. Are aliens going to be dropping in, I wonder?" And finally, from the Met Office, Laura Young writes, "After looking at the images, I can say the object has nothing to do with the weather. It is not meteorological, or it is not a cloud." Here we have from the UFO Digest an article that says, "Consternation in La Rioja, Argentina, over a strange object in the sky," by Scott Corrales. As occurred earlier in San Juan, residents of Chilicito were alarmed when they saw a light in the sky. In mid-August of this year, Valle Fertil was shaken after seeing strange lights in the sky. On that occasion, residents believed it might be a UFO because it was always suspended in the air and looked like a white spot. Scant kilometers away, another oddity had been seen. This time it was in Chilicito, La RIOJA, where residents started to see the strange image in the morning sky. According to the Chronicle newspaper, the object remained in the same location as time passed, barely evincing a slight movement. This is on August 14th, around 1800 hours. Some residents of Valle Fertil claimed seeing a strange image in the sky, feeling a tremor right before this, causing widespread alarm. According to the Instituto Nacional de Prevención Sísmica, the tremor took place at 1742 hours with an epicenter close to the provincial seat at barely a depth of 11 kilometers with a 2.6 magnitude. Coincidence or not, residents claimed the object caused panic among many spectators, more than anything due to the time that it remained motionless. Fernando Soria, resident of Valle, told Diario La Provincia newspaper that it was seen throughout the valley and along the road to Valle de la Luna and Talampaya. It hung in the air for about 2 hours. The whole town saw it. It was a middle object that caused the attention of the whole town. It suddenly vanished around nightfall. The whole town and many tourists were in the town square watching it for 2 hours, more or less, said Soria, who admitted not feeling the tremor but aware of close friends who did. It was very odd because it was very low and static and motionless. I watched from the departmental square, but it was visible everywhere. It was only suspended in the air within a small cloud, the blue sky, and the metallic object. When the sun went down, it was a light, he explained. Okay. And one last piece. This deals with the Dogon. It's part of this series. Been placing a number of stories here from this particular author. It's been a series. It says here, and we continue from part 1, 2, 3, and 4, considering the serious mystery behind the serious mystery. But it's not one which one may generally think. The Serious Mystery is the first book published by Robert K. Temple in 1976 AD. Its premise is ancient astronaut, or as the term has been updated, ancient aliens, or actually in this case, ancient extraterrestrial amphibians. The Dogon maintain that the Sirius has two companions, not one. These companions have male and female attributes respectively. It seems that they are not to be interpreted literally as stars, but as fertility symbols. Nowhere is this better shown than in a Dogon sand diagram of the complete Sirius system. It is clearly symbolic. Temple chooses to interpret literally. This is stated because the illustration includes a mythical male destined to pursue his female twin, the star of a woman, the sign of a woman, and specifically a woman's reproductive organs represented by a uterus. In order to simplify things, or make things more convenient to this point, Temple gives his own modified version of the diagram, retaining the symbol of Sirius, one of the positions of Sirius B, and the surrounding oval. All else is omitted. He then interprets, perhaps reinterprets as more accurate, the surrounding oval meant to represent the egg of the world as the elliptical orbit of Sirius B around Sirius A, even though the symbols equated with Sirius B is drawn as lying within the oval, not on it. This is Temple's basis for saying that the Dogons know Sirius B orbits Sirius A in an ellipse. Also note that the tribe has a periodic Sirius festival called Segui ceremony. Each celebration lasts several years. The interval between ceremonies may be 40, 50, or 60 years. Such criteria suggest that these periodic festivals have been going on for at least 600 years and possibly much longer. But here's the rub. There's no archaeological evidence that the specific reference to the twin hidden companions of Sirius are anywhere near that old. Marcel Graal, in Germain Dietermann's book, The Pale Fox, described the secret knowledge of Sirius B and Sirius C. But now, in another recent publication, Ancient Mysteries by Peter James and Nick Thrope, the mystery is also uncloaked as a hoax or a lie perpetuated by Graal. To recapitulate, Graal claimed to have been initiated into the secret mysteries of the male Dogon, during which they allegedly told him of Sirius, Sugutolo in their language, and these two invisible companions. In the 1930s, when the research was carried out, Sirius B was known to have existed, even though it was only photographed in 1970. It is very unlikely that the Dogon had learned of the star's existence from Westerners prior to the visit by Graal and Dietermann. To quote Ancient Mysteries, Temple, following Graal, assumes that to Polo is the invisible star Sirius B. The Dogons themselves, as reported by Graal, say something quite different. The biggest challenge to Graal, however, came from the anthropologist Walter Van Beek. He points out that Graal and Dietermann stand alone in their claims about the Dogon secret knowledge. No other anthropologist supports their opinions. In 1991, Van Beek led a team of anthropologists to Mali and declared that they found absolutely no trace of the detailed Sirius lore reported by the French anthropologist James and Thrope. Understate the problem when they say this is very worrying. Graal claims that about 15% of the Dogon tribe possessed this secret knowledge, but Van Beek could find no trace of it in a decade he spent with the Dogon. Van Beek actually spoke to some of the Graal's original informants. He noted, though they do speak about Sigutolo, interpreted by Graal as their name for Sirius itself, they disagree completely with each other as to which star it is meant. For some, it is an invisible star that should rise to announce the Sigu festival. For another, it is Venus. though a different position appears as Sigutolo. All agree, however, that they learned about the star from Graul. Van Beck states that this creates a major problem for Graul's claims. The full title of James Thorpe's books is Ancient Mysteries, discovers the latest intriguing, scientifically sound explanations of age-old puzzles. More details on the portion of the issues are gleaned from Adams H.H. 1983a, African Observers of the Universe, the serious question about which is found in one advancement. Okay. So, good article, very interesting. So, what is real? What is not? That is the question that is being discovered, but nonetheless, it is an interesting article, interesting research, interesting series of articles, I should say. And that's our UFO news for today. Let's jump away momentarily. I'll be back.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. So before we get into the Friday discussion about Jesus, we're going to continue on with the parables. I just want to let you know about this new show that I am doing on Saturdays. I know that a number of you has asked me about if I was going to be doing anything on the weekends, and the answer is now yes. Saturday evenings, I can be heard co-hosting a show called One Step Beyond Imagination. It takes place Saturday evenings, Pacific time, from 6 to 10 p.m. If you're on the East Coast, that would be 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. You can hear this on KCAAradio.com, or if you happen to be in the Los Angeles or the Inland Empire, you can hear it right on AM radio, 10:50 a.m. It is a call-in show. We got a number right here. You can call in, listen to the show on your phone. If you're not out and about in the car or in the local area, you can go to kcaaradio.com. There's a toll-free call-in line, so if you have questions and you want to call in, please feel free to do so, because I know I've gotten a number of emails from you asking if there's any call-ins I'll be doing on this show. Probably not in this show, but go to the Saturday night show, and we've got 4 hours during which we take calls. So please do call in and check out the show. We talk about a lot of different subjects similar to here, but we get into other ones as well. And of course, I'm hosting this with Colonel Steve Alexander, and I think you'll enjoy the show. So check it out. That is Saturday evenings, 6 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, kcaaradio.com. Or if you're in the area, 10:50 a.m. KCAA. Now, moving from there, let's get into our subject for the Fridays, which is Jesus. I have been going over all of these parables, and today we're up to parable number 12. Parable number 12. This comes to us from Matthew 13:24 through 30 and 36 through 43. Weeds among good plants. Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came in and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, then the weeds also appeared. The owner's servants came in and said to him, Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did the weeds come from? An enemy did this, he replied. The servants asked him, Do you want us to go out and pull them up? No, he answered, because while you are pulling up the weeds, you may root up the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and at that time I will tell the harvesters, First collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned, and then gather the wheat and bring them into my barn. Then he left the crowd and went to the house. His disciples came to him and said, Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field. He answered, The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the Word, and the good seed stands for the sons of the kingdom. The weeds are the son of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the field, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes all who do evil. Then they will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of heaven. He who has ears, let him hear. Let's jump down here to this discussion of it. Okay, it says, note, this is the first in the series of 8 Kingdom of Heaven parables, and the only one explained by Jesus. After telling you this, he expects you to get it. So why do people dislike the weeds? Well, because they grow up around the plants and they cause problems. In this parable, who is the sower? Jesus. What does the field represent? I would say the field represents the state of human condition, life. The weed is the word. The weeds would be the words of the evil one, the enemy, the adversary that's out there that causes the doubts, the fears. What did the servants volunteer to do for the owner of the fields? They wanted to go out and to pick the weeds up, pull all the weeds out. On what grounds did the owner turn down the servant's suggestion? How difficult is it to pull up only the weeds with a densely growing bed of flowers? Pascandria, or even just grass. Can you always clearly identify the weeds from the good plants? Well, they wanted to pull out the weeds. And oftentimes we want to be able to pull out the problems in life when we see them. But sometimes the problems are so intertwined with life that we have to just simply let things run their course. And then once they run their course, when it is safe to remove all things, then both can be removed together. And so that's part of our challenge with life, to know what is safe. Okay? So let's move from this one. Let's jump into the next one. Parable number 13, 14, and 15. We'll see if we can get all 3 of these. Parable number 13 from Mark 4:26-29, the growing seed. He also said, This is what the kingdom of God is like. A man scatters seed in the ground. Night and day, whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows. Though he does not know how, all by itself the soil produces grain, first the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. As soon as the grain is ripe, he puts the sickle to it, because the harvest has come. Okay, here we go for, I'm going to read them all together then. Parable number 14, the mustard seed. So we have all these about seeds. Again he said, What shall we say the kingdom of heaven, kingdom of God is like, or what shall we use to describe it? It is like a mustard seed, which is the smallest seed you plant in the ground. Yet when planted, it grows and becomes the largest of all garden plants, with such big branches that the birds of the air can perch in its shade. In parable 15, he told them still another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into a large amount of flour until it worked all through the dough. Jesus spoke all these things to the crowd. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. So Jesus had recently told the parable of the 4 types of soil and the parable of the weeds among the good plants, and now he tells the parable recorded only by Mark about plants growing from seed. So who does the man who plants the seed represent? How about the seed? The plant it grows into, the soil. Well, seems to be that the plant, the seed and all, is the Word, and the Word is planted in order that humankind can grow. Have you ever tried to grow a plant from a seed? Does every seed sprout? No, not everyone does. Does every seed grow to maturity? No. What does it take for a plant to grow, and where do you get the things you need? It takes water, it takes sunlight, it takes air, and all of these things can be provided by life itself. What was the growth process like for the seed in the parable? Quick or gradual? Seemed like it was day by day, night and day. Well understood and mysterious. What's the meaning of the parable? Seems to be that once the seed is planted, it continues to grow, and it continues to grow, and there's no stopping the growth. And so all we need to do is be open to understanding the growth that is taking place. Does the seed have anything to do with being born again? How about with saving your soul? Well, I suppose it could be born again if you haven't already gone through the process the first time. Perhaps you're a young soul and maybe you haven't gone through this. The seed therefore has a chance to have you understand. Maybe it's not the born again process. Maybe it's just the introductory process. So the seed can be part of the born again, but it doesn't have to. Not if it's the first time you heard it. How does the parable help you understand what the kingdom of God is like? And how do you feel knowing the message of Christ has a mysterious power in itself? Does this parable imply an obligation for believers to sow seed, water it, and fertilize it for others? Speak of your faith to others? What small and seemingly insignificant possession is worth a great deal to you, and why? Jesus often referred to mustard seeds in what context? As the smallest of seeds that grow to the largest plants. The parable of the mustard seed must have been confusing to Jesus' listeners. Everything was wrong. The mustard seed is not all tiny, while the other mustard seed plant is all the 8 inches tall, and the black mustard bush is typically about 5 feet tall. Hardly a tree that could shelter birds. Explanation, please. Well, as Jesus spoke in parables, obviously, there was something very important, that the Word of God spreads so big that it can house all of these things, like the birds of the field. And then when we think later about the parables involving the birds and how they're clothed and sheltered by the great Creator, it's just another example that if we allow ourselves to trust life, life will provide for us all that we need. Let's see here. How does yeast work? Yeast helps things to grow. Can you summarize these 2 parables in simple ways as to what they mean to the listeners and what they mean to us today? Jesus often spoke in parables or example stories that you can use to share your faith. What does the man who plants the seeds represent? Okay. This is the man who represents the planter of the seed, who might be Jesus himself. These are all just examples that they are giving as the answers. You know, here's so at first, why a mustard seed? Probably because it is the most tightly packed seed of all. There's no place for air inside of it. As a result, it can withstand high pressures and high temperatures. Also, the seeds sown in the earth to produce edible products. The mustard seed was probably the smallest known by most people. Where I referred to the plants as a tree, a cultivated mustard seed does not grow into a tree naturally, although in the wild the black mustard bush can grow to 10 or 15 feet tall. Even so, the largest closely spaced branches capable of offering nests for birds of the air does not seem to be possible in a mustard bush, however large it grew. For it to grow into a tree, it would have to be unusual, some say supernatural occurrence. Perhaps Jesus was painting a picture of a dramatic work of God, so that the listeners would envision a huge mustard tree that was like nothing they'd ever seen before. But there are other aspects of this parable that are equally, if not more important. Think of these when you compare the growth of a mustard seed to the growth of the kingdom of God. The pod of seeds in a mustard plant holds thousands of seeds, so no one plant can rise to hundreds more plants. In many ways, a mustard seed is like a weed. It sprouts quickly, but then can lay dormant for many years. It is also easily killed. A fire in a field would destroy everything but the mustard plants. It grows with attention from the farmer, but also grows in its own with attention from God. As Paul said in 1 Corinthians 3:6, I planted the seed. Apollos watered it, but God has been making it grow. So as Jesus started telling this parable, they might have been thinking, a mustard tree. Any bird sitting on its branches would crush that little bush. But at the end of the parable, those who understand it would be thinking, wow, the kingdom of God is amazing in the way it grows and is really going to be beyond anything we have ever seen before. And finally, in the summary of these two parables, it says Jesus used the parables to show that although Christianity has very small beginnings in Jesus, a day was coming when it would grow into a worldwide community of believers, and its greatness and impact would be seen by the whole world. Today, if you feel alone in the stand for Christ, realize that God has faithful followers throughout the world, and your faith, no matter how small, can join with that others to accomplish great things. All right, very good. Very good. So why did Jesus speak in parables? Well, pretty much because he knew that there's many different intelligence levels, and therefore in order to speak to people that are looking at things from different levels of intelligence, you have to speak to them in some common language, something common that they will understand. And that's what a parable is. It's a story. And so as he would tell a story about things that were familiar to them, they could relate to them in an easier way. In the same way that we have stories and we relate to things that make it easy for people to understand these days. Same thing with Jesus. He was a storyteller. And all of the stories were filled with meaning, much more than what the surface level story is. Pretty much the way Hollywood movies are. That there's a story that is told on the surface, but beneath the surface there's something else that is going on. So we get a lot of sense from Jesus that the word is out there in the world. Jesus has been around with others planting seeds for a long time. There's no reason in this day and age we shouldn't be able to move forward with the understanding of what was going on. But we don't. We don't always move forward in the ways that we could, because we become fearful. And in the fear, we forget about all of the lessons that we are taught, because we find that fear is such a big, intimidating factor and force that once we are confronted with that fear, it turns us into thinking ways that we wouldn't normally think. Doubts start to present themselves. The fears and all the things that we wouldn't normally think about, there they are. But the moment we exercise our faith and apply faith to that, we find that the fear disappears. And therein lies the challenge. How to apply that faith and having the strength at the moments of doubt to be able to apply that faith. We're going through these lessons day in, day out. We all have an opportunity. Every time we see someone in the world who is challenged for their faith, and then we see how that person responds to us, in a way we all get to live vicariously through that individual. And if that person stands up and exercises their faith, we feel good about that. But if that person's faith is not exercised, and then they are put down, it often affects us as well, because we know that we would all like to see faith win out in the end. So we need to really pay attention, my friends. We need to pay attention to our own inner convictions. We can't expect our neighbors to stand up and be strong and be faithful if we're not willing to do so. So it starts with us. And if each and every one of us could go out into the world and just operate from a place of faith, that would encourage the next person to operate from that same place of faith, and so on and so on. And that would be something that would be very contagious, a good contagious, for all of us to be exercising faith. Imagine where the world would be if we exercised faith, if we got rid of all of the doubts and the fears. You'd be living in a different world. A much different world, a much better world. But that's going to take strength of conviction and people standing up for what they believe. We've got to stand up for what we believe. We have to stop doing things that go against our own integrity. We hear stories from time to time about individuals who are out in the world that are expressing their faith, and then the business community smacks them down saying, oh no, you can't bring that into this business. And oftentimes the person just caves easily. I don't know why a person needs to cave so easily. An example comes to mind in the NFL. RG3 was giving a talk. He was wearing a shirt that had a picture of Jesus on it. It had a saying, I don't remember what the saying was, but he was told before the interview that he had to take the shirt off or turn it inside out. So he did. Would have made a better statement if RG3 would have walked away from the microphone and told them that he was not going to be doing the interview. It would have been a much bigger impact if he would have said, I'll take the fine, if he would have accepted that and would have walked away. But instead he turned his shirt inside out, so he caved. He didn't stand by the integrity with which he wanted you to believe he had when he put that shirt on. And it's not his fault. We all do these things in life. We all find things that are going to help us to be faithful and strong in life. We wear symbols and images to help us remind us of strength. But when it all comes down to it, we often have a moment of time where we can find out if we're really strong or we're really not. And despite the fact that he wanted to remain strong, in that moment when he was asked to turn the shirt inside out, he didn't remain strong. He didn't stand by his conviction. Because whatever pressures that were around him, whether it be money or persons around him who didn't like what he had to say, he caved to those pressures. And all that shows society is that there's another individual who's willing to cave for the money, who's willing to put God aside because somebody else said that they didn't like them talking about that. Didn't fit in with the agenda. When we stop removing God from life, we'll find that life will be much smoother and easier. When we stop making all the excuses why God can't be here and all the other nonsense, we'll do much better off, because God created life and God should be part of life. And everybody who disregards the importance of God, you're missing out on a big portion of life, and you're missing out on the joy that you could have. So it's very important to stand by your convictions, stand by who you are, and most importantly, to stand by God, because I could assure you that God stands by you each and every moment of each and every day. There you have it. Next article. This is a story by In5D. It's called The Real Awakening, the Event. This is by Michelle Walling. The real definition of the awakening is yet to occur. Although we are more cognizant of who we are and what we are here to do, the abilities that we used to have are latent within our DNA at this time. The real awakening occurs when we bring our multidimensional selves online and we realize what our cosmic star heritage is. Much of our time is currently being spent in researching our cosmic heritage as we search for our star family. Some people have memories of past lives and these with beings, and others are having memories of having contact with their family while here on the planet or a spaceship or in astral travels. Most people, however, do not have memories of their cosmic family, which leaves an emptiness inside that they are constantly trying to fill. The version of the human on the planet at this time has a mix of several different gods that has had their human heritage on this planet at one time. There were gods who had either had sex with humans that were here from other species or took their DNA to genetically modify it. Then those people had sex with other species or modified their DNA, and so on and so on. Thus we have a little bit of heritage from Sirius, the Pleiades, Orion, Arcturus, and more. Some may have more of one kind of race than another. For example, some may have more reptilian in them from Sirius, or may have some gray in them from Orion. It all depends on your past life, cosmic family heritage, as well as your physical parents' DNA and heritage. At any point, At any rate, the point is that not everyone has the same percentage of cosmic heritage because of the various factors of physical and non-physical traits as defined by our DNA. We can begin to create our own paradise on Earth and anywhere else once we begin to merge our multidimensional aspects of ourself while existing in a body. This is done through the activation of dormant DNA that was once turned off through genetic manipulation. By bringing this latent DNA online, we are shifting from a third-dimensional reality to a multidimensional reality. Our DNA activation is being sparked by more than just one thing. As energy is sent from the center of the cosmos, it affects the cells in our body and causes them to vibrate faster. As we work with this vibration and accept and ground it into our bodies, it helps to clear the stuck energies that we have carried in our emotional bodies from lifetime to lifetime. As we clear these energies, we allow a better connection to our higher self, which in turn helps to help our bodies clear the energies even more in order to keep activating our DNA. This planet is also raising the vibration, her vibration, which in turn helps us to raise our vibration, and this keeps the cycle going. We find ourselves identifying patterns that bring out awareness to energies within our emotional fields that finally get cleared once we work through them. In fact, our emotional body is our secret DNA weapon. Our cosmic family is also communicating to us through thoughts and packets of downloads comprised of light, geometric patterns, and symbols, which will help to activate us. In summary, humanity, Earth, solar system, and cosmos all work together in symbiosis to make this shift. The event can be defined as the moment that our emotional body is cleared and our DNA gets fully activated. When this happens, we will be able to bring the energy and experiences of our multidimensional selves into the physical body through a stargate or a wormhole that is opened and connected to our higher self, our oversoul, and our creator. This is the time that we will have more tools and abilities at our disposal that will change the reality around us on the planet. Okay, let me just jump to the end of this article here. Go to the last paragraph. Ultimately, we are all aspects of one creator being that sent us forth to experience. This is our cosmic heritage, our true cosmic heritage. However, we get to experience personalities with each lifetime, and we do not lose that part of us, nor the experience. These experiences get recorded not only in our DNA, but in the Earth's DNA, and the solar system, and so on. We can access Earth's Akashic records in our DNA as well. Thus, we are living libraries that can share information with many beings in the cosmos. Now, that is a true awakening to who and what we really are. Alright, so I skipped through the mid portion of this article, but the link is available so you can check it out. This is another good article from Michelle Walling, so please do check that out, as well as other links and stories that they have in their sites. Alright, that brings us to our message for today, which comes to us from Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene by Natalie Glasson. The Period of Alignment.
September 17th, 2014.
Mary Magdalene.
You are now experiencing your divine essence in a sacred journey which is revealing your purpose as a soul on the earth and within the universe of the Creator. The journey you are experiencing and continuously embarking upon is a special journey that gathers all your skills, abilities, wisdom, and knowledge from past, simultaneous and current lifetimes into manifestation within your present moment. Everything you require is present within your being, ready to be activated, available to be experienced and present to be honored as a sacred manifestation of the divine. Your purpose upon the earth is unfolding now for you. You are walking your sacred purpose in every moment of your life, whether you are content with your life or not. You experience an easy flowing life or challenges, feel confused or inspired. In this moment and every moment of your reality, you are in the right place with appropriate timing, and everything is flowing in accordance with your soul group, and the divine will of the Creator. This is the truth. You are exactly where you need to be in your life and experiences, and you are walking your divine purpose on the earth to experience more fully with each expression of yourself the era of love and all its abundance. I ask you to comprehend your life in this moment. Do you feel my words are true? It is most likely, if you have recently had what you perceive as good experiences, that you resonate with my words. If it is the opposite and you feel yourself struggling or suffering in your life, then maybe you do not resonate with my words. Whatever your circumstances, it is appropriate for you to resonate, cultivate, and align with my words and suggestions about you walking on the earth as your divine purpose, because this is your truth. The more you align with this existence, the more you will experience it fully within your reality. There is no other way to walk as your divine purpose on the earth and experience the abundant love of the era of love than to align with it consciously, as if sending out a request to yourself and the era of love, including all its experiences, to merge, to be linked in as one. You are already the era of love. The era of love is a title of a time on the earth where each person aligns with the love of their beings, bringing it forth to their own realities, to others, and the earth is a supreme gift of love, the gift of love manifesting in physical form and experiences. You, beloved one, are on this pathway. You are the era of love, you are the creator of the era of love. It is through your alignment with an expression of love that you will achieve your divine purpose, as well as manifesting an eternal period of love on the earth. Your time is here, it has been present for a while. The only way you can truly be a creator of the era of love is to align with and be content, with understanding that you are already walking your sacred reality of divinity and true purpose on the earth. Your understanding and contentment comes from your perspective that everything in your reality is appropriate and applicable. There are no good or bad experiences, and everything is a part of your pathway. With this perspective activated within you, you discover you no longer feel attached to your reality or even feel the need to judge circumstances. You simply know everything falls into place for a reason and a divine purpose. With this understanding, you are more able to surrender yourself more fully to the presence of the beauty of the Creator within your being and reality. Your choices also come into play, having an important impact upon your reality. When you choose to be aligned to the era of love and to your purpose of being a creator of the era of love, you begin to make new choices which express and manifest the era of love within your reality. Thus abundant diverse experiences of love manifest magically into your life, attracting to you all you need to encourage and support you in expressing more of the Creator's love and viewing more of the Creator's beauty within your reality. I align. This is all that you require in this moment with your choice of that which you choose to align to. Do you choose to align to fear or love? This simple means that rather than encouraging yourself to walk alone on the earth without support, you are accessing the support that is constantly yours. The support of the inner planes, the angels, archangels, ascended masters, light beings, as well as the flow of abundance, the truth, love, and your own sacred being. You are opening yourself up to be a part of the universe of the Creator, which you automatically and naturally belong to, so you may gain the support, inspiration, and energy you require. Thus you are able to support others in achieving and accessing the same. What energies do you wish to support you in this magical lifetime and to create magic upon the earth? It is important to contemplate this free from limitations or boundaries. You are an amazing being of light connected to all that is the Creator. When you align yourself to this, you are living beyond boundaries in the freedom and multitude of abundance of the Creator. I align myself completely to the era of love so I may be an expression of the abundant and blissful love of the Creator on the earth. I align myself to be a creator of the era of love in my reality, the realities of others and the world. I align myself to experience myself and my reality as love, thus attracting all I need and require into my life to exist harmoniously with the truth of my heart and my divine purpose. I align with the divine purpose of my soul. Whatever happens in my reality, I know I am creating, walking, and experiencing my divine purpose in every moment. As I align with love, my choices are aligned with love, and so I am love in all its sacred expressions. For this I rejoice, letting go of fear and being content within my reality and existence upon the earth. I am that I am. That which is negative, harmful, or hurtful is only a product of illusion designed to bring forth greater understanding and truth from the soul. That which is determined positive is a recognition of the truth of your soul and the Creator in manifestation. That which you align with becomes your truth, becomes your reality and the consciousness held within your physical being. Let love be the alignment of your being. There is a need to embody, express and experience the love of the Creator because it is healing, uplifting, and freeing. More importantly, due to the fact the love of the Creator is so abundant, there is so much to experience. Even a lifetime devoted to the embodiment, expression, and experience of the Creator's love is not enough to explore fully the abundant manifestations and experiences of the Creator's love. There is so much to experience. It is now time to unleash these beautiful energies and experiences so new understandings and truths develop and are recognized from within your being. There is a magical world waiting for you, born from within your being. Where there is love, there is only love. Within your being there is love. This means that there is only love within your being. If you align to this understanding and to the love within your being by simply stating, affirming, and committing yourself to this alignment, then this will be your experience eternally, developing in magnificent ways throughout your reality and experiences. It is time to set yourself free and to know you are your divine purpose. This knowingness is all that is required. With your alignment to love and your divine purpose, even if you do not know your divine purpose, you will purify and cleanse your reality as everything that you are, create, and experience also becomes aligned. This is why many upon the earth are experiencing people, energies, objects, experiences, situations, beliefs, perspective falling away from them. It is because of a conscious and unconscious alignment that is taking place within all souls. Every soul consciously and sometimes unconsciously is making a choice of alignment and experience upon the earth. This alignment is paving the way for generations to come and also for the continuous ascension of all upon the earth and the inner planes. That which you choose in every moment impacts upon your reality and the ascension of all. This is why at this time of transition, forgiveness is the greatest tool to support a loving reality of freedom of love. I am with you always, supporting, loving and inspiring you. Let there be light and love in everything you do as you walk the pathway of your divine purpose in the same way that I and Master Jesus and many more have done. We are one eternally, connected by truth and love. I honor and respect you. I am your sister and the companion of your soul, here to serve as and with love. The era of love is the time of alignment. Mary Magdalene.
Alright, nice message from Mary Magdalene, which brings us to our meditation for today. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, and exhale again. One more deep breath, hold it, and exhale. Contemplate the words of today's affirmation. I am free of anxieties. I am free of anxiety. So just imagine all of the anxieties that you may have had within you just leaving your body. Imagine yourself feeling calm and peaceful, relaxed. And in this state of calm peacefulness, you find clarity. Clarity to see through all of the distractions and the distortions of life. A vision to see past all of the illusions. And as such, you realize and understand that life has many different ways of speaking to us. And as we look below the surface, we be able to see more. And we realize that that which is shown on the surface is sometimes only a fraction of what is truly below the surface. So we learn to look at life and not take it all at face value, but learn to look at life for the deeper meanings. So as we go forth this weekend into the world, we go through looking at all things to see their deeper hidden meaning, the deeper hidden aspect of who and what they are about. And as such, we allow that to come forth, because once we recognize it is there, it is no longer hidden. Imagine yourself sending light and love into the world. Light and love. And just let this be our mission for the weekend. So as we go about, just imagine yourself, imagine your subconscious mind sending light and love into the world. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. And exhale. And go ahead and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show for the week. Thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure, as always, to have one day a week to be able to speak with you and converse and bring forth all this information. Don't forget, I'll be around tomorrow at onestepbeyondimagination.com. The live show is 6 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is a call-in show, so if you want to call in and ask some questions, please check out the show, call in, and I will be there. 6 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. OneStepBeyondImagination.com is the site. You can go check that out. In the meantime, all the links and information for today's show are available at firstcontactradio.com. Have yourselves an awesome weekend. I'll be back on Monday with more news and information. Till then, I love you. Keep loving each other. Be safe. Have fun. Peace. I'm out of here.